Live. Okay. Welcome everybody to the BYOAR studio. I'm Jim with Bowden Tactical. And I'm going to reload my page here and make sure that I'm live. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Good. Sound check is good. We're good to go. So I'm going to let the audience build a little bit here today. And
Derek Arnold, how's it going, Jim?
how you doing, Derek? Good to see you. I don't have my list of people popping up. The questions aren't up there, but you'll let me know. So we'll let the audience build a little bit. I wanted to show you something cool, something new for us. We just got these back from anodizing the other day, and they're for sale on our website now. We got some nice angled foregrips, direct M-lock style. You don't need a Picatinny section to mount them. They mount direct to the M-lock. That way they're nice and flush. They still stay low profile. You don't have that extra 3/8 of an inch or so hanging off the bottom. They only weigh a couple ounces, and they got really nice ergonomics, a really nice fit, and you can turn them around either way. They can be used as a hand stop or they can be used as an angled foregrip. Really nice for the pistols, you know, where you can't use a vertical foregrip. Nice solid little product. Real excited about it. New stuff coming all the time. We got a couple new products in the works. Couple products out at anodizing, couple products in prototyping. So keep an eye out. We're always coming up and trying to innovate new and exciting product for you guys. Caleb, how you doing, bud? So last week we talked about rifle twist rates and ammo, and we had a lot of good discussion in the group on that. A lot of good discussion all the way around in the architect group going on this week. Some guys having some problems with some stuff and getting a lot of good answers, getting a lot of good feedback, a lot of help. We've developed a room in there. So there's a room within the A Architect group. If you're a member of the A Architect group, you can go on and you can throw up an SOS and say, hey, I got a problem, I need some help. And if it's something we can't talk through just in text form or in chat, we got a live room. So you can get on your camera. It's kind of like a Zoom meeting type of thing. You can get your camera on, show us exactly what's happening with your gun. What if you're doing a build and you're stuck on something, whatever it might be, you know, we can go live with you in that room and we can answer those questions and help you out. There's a bunch of guys on the A Architect page, Russ Jackson, Ken Whitmore. You know, these guys have been doing this for a long time. If I'm not available, one of those guys can jump in and help you. You know, there's just a lot of guys on that forum that have a lot of experience. So if you throw up an SOS and you need some help with something, somebody's going to jump in and help you. That's what we're all about. This week's we got a special going on also, besides the angled foregrip that's new on our page. Our deal this week for the week is a 3-piece combo. You get a 13 or a 15-inch handguard, your choice. If you really want a 10-inch or a 7-inch, you know, let us know. We'll make that a combo for you too. But you can get the handguard, you can get the gas block, and a muzzle brake for $99.99. All three American made right here in Ohio. And that's what this is going to look like right here. That handguard is going to look like, you know, this gun right here when you get done with it. So $99.99 is a heck of a deal for all three pieces. Most times you can't buy a handguard for that. So you're basically getting the gas block and the muzzle brake for free.
He just says, why can't I hear anything? So, and he says LOL at the end. I don't know if the sound check's really working or...
I heard it. I heard our...
Yeah, that's why am I saying that?
Can somebody let us know if you can hear us? I'm on. I got my mic on. Somebody can comment and let us know if they can hear us. Make sure we got sound. We don't want to be talking to nobody.
And 4 on my end says Caleb. Good.
Okay. Good deal. All right.
Mike's messing with us.
Yeah. So This week's question of the week was about sights and optics, wanting to know what your favorite sight or optic or a combination thereof was. And we got a bunch of responses to that already. This week's sticker pack, somebody's going to win the sticker pack. And we were giving away some pens for a while, but now we've got these. So we started 3D printing on our 3D printer. Some of these pretty cool little keychains, just a little AR with our logo on it. And so we're going to send one of those along with the sticker package to who wins the sticker package this week. And don't forget to get your picture in or of your sights or optics, or even just your comment. That gets you any kind of interaction with that question. You get you in the chance to win that. So why we came here today? We wanted to talk about sights and optics. So for the entry-level guys, you've just bought your first AR. You're looking to buy your first AR. You're not sure what kind of sights. It's a big question. What do I want? What do I need? You can start off very basic with some flip-up iron, even some fixed iron sights. I like the flip-up iron sights because they fold down out of the way and they don't get snagged on anything, and it saves you that extra half an inch or an inch in your gun case. These are some very basic foreign sourced flip-up polymer sights. And they're not bad for what they are, but they're $20 items. They are what they are. And then step up to just a little bit more. These are all aluminum, and they are, again, flip-up sights, positive locking, so you have to push the button to lock them both in, and then when you push the button, they snap into place, positive locking. And these are going to run you about $40 in that ballpark. What's that? Yeah, these are the option that we have on our full build rifle kits, $34.95. So I think that's the price, right? $39.95. I think that's it. $39.95. So then you step up to the kind of the cream of the crop of pop-up sight. Well, I shouldn't say the cream of the crop, but in the price range, you got your Magpul M-Bus sights that you can catch them on sale sometimes for $75. Usually they run around $85, $90. They are kind of the go-to that everybody uses. Great sights. They do exactly what you want them to do. Positive locking. And great for short range to medium range. Everyone should learn how to shoot with iron sights. So this is one of my personal guns, and not only do I have my scope on here, but typically I'm going to have my iron sight back here, but because of this scope I can't do that. So I have my iron sight up further so I can clear. And these give me some rapid transition, so if for some reason my scope fails, I can turn to the side and I've got 45-degree irons. So it's a rapid transition from one to the other. It's just a simple twist of the gun, and I've got iron sights on the side. The reason why you don't typically put your iron sight up this far is it decreases your sight radius. And by sight radius, I'm talking about the distance from here to here. So when someone says sight radius, what they're talking about is the angle of movement. So in a straight line, from this distance, if your angle of movement is 1 degree, okay, maybe it's 60 thousandths out here at this distance, but if you move this back, that becomes 100 thousandths out at that distance. As the angle widens out, that distance becomes further. So therefore, a smaller move gives you more movement on target. Okay, so the shorter your sight radius is, the more clicks you have to go to get on target. The further apart your sights are, the bigger your sight radius, the finer every click makes a finer movement for you. So that's a little explanation of sight radius. So the next thing for sights that you get into in the AR platform is red dots. A lot of guys love red dots. I like red dots. The one thing I do have a problem with red dots, some guys have what they call an astigmatism, and it causes the red dot to starburst. You'll look at it and you'll see stringers coming off of it. It looks like a star. I don't have an astigmatism. What I had was cataract surgery when I was 21 years old. I had a traumatic cataract from an industrial accident, and I had to have cataract surgery, and therefore every light I look at has a starburst. It doesn't matter if it's a red dot, it's a street light, whatever it is. When I look at a light like that, it has a starburst to me. What I do to override that is I dial down. I always buy red dots that I can dial down the brightness, and I just dial down the brightness until my starburst goes away. And that's what a lot of guys with astigmatisms do, is dial down. There's some good red dots out there that accommodate some of that. Hollow Suns, some of the higher grade red dots have really worked hard to help the guys with astigmatisms and that starburst effect. This is a True Glow red dot. I've owned a bunch of these True Glow red dots over the years. It's a $35, $40 red dot. I've never had any problem with them. I've never tried them on a big caliber, so I don't know how they handle heavy recoil, but I've never had a problem with them on 223 holding a target. They wear out over time, but it's a $30 or $40 red dot. The one I don't have here today with me is the holographic sight. I don't have a holographic sight to show you, but a lot of guys like the low profile holographic red dots. You get into something like this. This is the Vortex Strike Fire. Real nice red dot. I really like this, and I like the flip over magnifier. This is a 3x Vortex magnifier. If you don't want to use the magnifier, it just flips out of your way, and then you want to go a little longer range, and now you've got 3x magnification on your dot. So some of the reasons why you want a red dot: really fast target acquisition. You get into a scope or iron sights, you got to close that one eye to look through it and get your sight picture, especially with a scope because it's magnified. If you train yourself really well, you can use iron sights with both eyes open. But you can use a red dot, and it's almost instant target acquisition, because when you're looking at the target and you pull the gun up, it's just kind of naturally right there. Your line of sight is already looking at it, and you're bringing the gun up into the line of sight, and the red dot is almost on target immediately. The other thing that it does is it helps you with your peripheral vision. So you can do this little experiment where, okay, if you're shooting and you close one eye, I can't see this hand until it's right there. Okay? Now if I have both eyes open, I can see this hand all the way over here. So in a tactical situation, someone could be sneaking in on the side of you, someone, who knows, could be sneaking in on the side of you, and you wouldn't see them because you've got that one eye closed until they're right here. Where with that one, both eyes open, it really enhance your field of view. So a quick little myth, I've seen a couple guys they talk about a magnifier, and so your red dot has 3 minutes of angle. And what that means is that at 100 yards, that red dot covers 3 inches of target. So he says, well, when I magnify it, it's going to be 6 MOA, right? Well, yeah, the dot is going to magnify 3 times. So it is going to enhance the size of the dot, but it's also going to enhance the size of the target. So it's all relative. The target's larger, the dot's larger, but in relation, the dot is still only covering 3 inches of target because you've magnified the target as well as the dot. So just a little myth buster for you there. So those are red dots, and the last thing we'll talk about is scopes. So this is my personal Ohio deer hunting rifle, my 350 Legend, and my Vortex Crossfire 2. I really like Vortex scopes just because they're a nice quality, no frills or a no fault warranty. I can drop this on the ground and break it, and I can send it back, and they're going to fix it or give me another one. The glass is fantastic. I've always bought, I was always that guy that said, you know what, it's a $50 scope, it's an $80 scope, it's fine, it does what it's supposed to do, until I bought a $200 scope, and then I was like, holy mackerel, what a difference the glass can make. I mean, this glass in this thing is crystal clear, and this has the V-Bright reticle, where not only is it have a crosshair, but it also has a red dot. So in low light conditions for hunting, early morning, late evening, I'm in the tree stand and the woods are starting to get a little dark, then I can turn the red dot on and I get that extra 10 or 15 minutes of time there at the end of the day or the early morning where I might not be able to see my target. I might not be able to see that deer with crosshairs. I can see with the red dot. And in fact, I took a nice doe with this setup just this past year, right at last light, about 5 minutes before last light. And had I not had the red dot, I wouldn't have been able to tell where that scope, where those crosshairs were on that deer. It was getting that dark. So I can't say enough about those scopes for that price range. And this is a 3x9. When you're buying a scope, a couple things you want to look at. What do you want to do with it? How long do you, how far do you want to shoot? What's your intended target? If you're hunting antelope out west, you're going to want a long range scope. If you're hunting deer here in Ohio, where most of your shots are 100 yards or less, a 3x9 scope set at 6 is going to be really good. Something comes in close, you can dial down to 3. You can, if something's a little further, you can dial up to 9, and that adjust the magnification. They make these throw levers too that are real nice that clamp on there, so you don't even have to look at what you're doing. You can just grab that lever and toss it over, and it's going to go right to the highest or lowest settings. Those throw levers are really nice. Eye relief. So when you're looking at a scope, they're going to tell you what the eye relief is in the description. And eye relief is how far away your eye needs to be from the scope in order for the sight picture to be proper. And what you get when you look through a scope, okay, if you're too close or you're too far, you're going to get a black ring around the inside of the scope, and you're not going to have a full field of view. So you want to find a spot where you mount that scope where you see everything in there. You don't see any of that black ring around there, and everything is clearly in focus. And there's your eye relief. There's the distance right there. So with a lot of scopes, you got to watch charging handle clearance. So sometimes it gets hard to reach in here and get a hold of a charging handle with a scope. That's why an extended latch charging handle you can grab from one side and charge is almost a must-have with a scope. And I'll show you one last example here. This is my varmint scope. Coyotes, groundhogs. This is a relatively cheap scope. It's a Barska. This was about $100. This thing dials up from 6.5 to 20 power. And then it's got the parallax adjustment on the front that goes from 50 to infinity. You're shooting 200 yards, you dial it for 200. And, this thing's incredible. I got a guy that lives across and down from me, and I'm not a peeping Tom, I promise you, but I can literally set this thing on 20, and I can look over there and look through his living room window, and I can tell what he's watching on TV with this thing on 20 power. It's a beast. And, kind of overkill for a lot of things, but it was cheap enough. And, if you're going to shoot a couple 100 yards at a coyote out across the field, you want something that you can see. And the glass in this is nowhere near as good as the Vortex. If you want clarity, you got to pay for it. That's just the name of the game. This does fine. It's fine for what I paid for it. But if you want that crisp, clear, really clear glass, that comes with a cost. And you can spend as much as you want on any of this stuff. You know, iron sights can run you a couple $100 for really top of the line stuff. Red dots, Trijicon ACOGs and stuff like that, you're looking at $1,000. And you know, scopes, you know, the sky's the limit. I've seen scopes that cost a couple $1,000s. All depends on your application. You get into the night vision stuff and the thermal optics, you're really talking some money there. But you know, when you're hunting coyotes at night or hogs at night, you got to have what you got to have. So kind of wrapping the whole thing up, you know, you want to start off kind of basic and simple, see what you like, what you don't like. Don't spend a ton of money right up front. You know, I always tell the guys, ease into what you want, what you like. Buy $100, buy a $200 scope, buy a $100, $200 red dot, you know, and upgrade from there. If you know, you can always sell the stuff, right? Somebody's always looking for parts. So start inexpensively if you want to. If you can, if you don't want to, it's up to you. But I always try to start inexpensively and then see what I like and what I don't like and upgrade from there. I'm like everybody else. I don't want to spend any more than I have to, but I want good stuff. So, oh yeah. So, scopes, red dots, iron sights, all of it. Quick little. So this is a laser bore sight tool. Okay. So what you do is you insert that into the barrel, and then you look through your scope, right? And you dial. Now this is way too close right here. 5 foot is way too close, right? I can't even see the red dot through this scope because it's too close. You want to do this at about 25 or 30 yards to start off with, and you want to, wherever that red dot is, you want to adjust your scope or your red dot or whatever it might be to that red dot, and that's going to get you real close, what we call on paper. You know, you're not going to, it's not going to be exact because there is a certain amount of deflection or difference in. So if you watch as I spin this, if my camera guy will, this one's actually, you can see, okay, see how the red dot's moving around on the wall just a little bit, okay, as I spin that thing. So it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to get you what we call on paper. And, you know, just on paper is just what we mean. You're not going to be shooting at a 12-inch piece of paper and hitting 25 inches over here and not sure where you're at. You know, this is going to get you on the paper so that you can dial in and fine-tune it. They also make laser bore sighters that are the shape of your bullet and are caliber specific, and they go right in the barrel. So here's a quick little tip. If you don't have a laser bore sighter, you don't have any way to, and you need to bore sight your gun real quick, I do this a lot. I like this method. It's very effective. Take your bolt carrier group out, take your charging handle out, set this thing up on your deck rail, something nice and flat and sturdy. Maybe use a little C-clamp to lock it down. And you look down your barrel and you find something out there, 30, 40, 50 yards, whatever it might be. Put a basketball out in the yard, something that you can see through that barrel, and then come up to your scope and then dial your scope to that basketball. Very effective method. I've never not been on paper using that method.
Says if you don't want to sell your stuff, you could donate your gently used parts to Markman for vets.
There you go.
To his flood.
Russ does a wonderful thing in our community. He has a group called Marksman for Vets, and he builds rifles for disabled American veterans. And we've been proud to be a part of several of his builds. We've donated handguards, gas blocks, muzzle brakes, different things for these guys, and we are extremely proud to be able to help Russ do that. So if you have gently used parts, get a hold of Russ on this page, and he'll gladly take gently used parts to help our disabled American veterans have a rifle that they can enjoy. So, Next week, we're going to, our ranges just opened up here this week. Hallelujah. We get to shoot again without going back in the woods. So I'm trying to get a hold of the guy at the range, and we're going to set up a time that we can go do a little range etiquette, range time video, and he'll walk you through what, maybe you've never gone to the range before, maybe you're new to this, what range etiquette is, what you're going to need for a range, to go to the range, the different safety equipment, just the basics of range etiquette and range time. So don't forget, get your picture in for the sticker pack and the keychain. And don't forget the $99 special for a handguard, gas block, and a muzzle brake. And remember, you don't have to be an expert to build your own AR, to maintain it, or upgrade it. We're here to help you do that. Thanks. We'll see you next week.